Hello, welcome back to another video on astrology. In this video, I'll be talking to you about Jupiter transit with regard to the moon sign, which has been mentioned in the title of this video. But I'll also be covering the transit of Saturn because you cannot afford to do Jupiter transit alone, because Saturn is always the big boss when it comes to transit. And so you'll have to first find out whether Saturn is favorably placed or not. And then you'll have to blend that information with whether the Jupiter transit is favorable or not. That's what we'll be doing in this video. Jupiter transit actually happened on September 12, 2017. And before that, Jupiter was over here. And on the date of transit, it actually crossed over from Kanya to Tula. In English, from Virgo to Libra. So you can see the images that we have used here. Behind the word Jupiter, you can see Libra. Now, this is going to be the position of Jupiter for one long year. This transit is very important because Jupiter is the auspicious planet. We always like auspicious events in our life. So Jupiter is very important as it rules over our money, gold, the auspicious events in our life. Therefore, Jupiter transit is very important. If Jupiter is favorably placed, it gives us plenty of opportunities for auspicious events in our life in that particular year when it is favorable. Another very interesting aspect is that Saturn, before the transit happened, is over here in Vrishika or Scorpio. But let me tell you that as early as January 26th of 2017, Saturn actually moved over to the next sign, Sagittarius or Dhanush. But what happened was he stopped going forward, applied the brakes, and then started coming back, and he re-entered the sign. And as the Jupiter transit happened, actually Saturn is over here in Scorpio. So this creates a lot of effects on any moon sign, because Saturn is also on the border of two signs and Jupiter is just now transited. And Saturn will re-enter Sagittarius or Dhanush on October 26th of 2017. In this video, we will assume that Saturn is here because for most part of this Jupiter year, Saturn will be here in Sagittarius. So that's why I'm not giving you two different pictures about where Saturn is. The next thing that you should do is you should keep your basic horoscope ready with you, and you need to also know what is the Sarva Ashtakavarga score that Saturn obtained over in Sagittarius, and you need to know what is the Sarva Ashtakavarga score obtained by Jupiter in Libra or Tula. Also, you need to know what is the Bin Ashtakavarga score that Saturn obtained in its Ashtakavarga in Dhanush, and you need to know Jupiter's Bin Ashtakavarga score in Tula. If all this sounds Greek and Latin to you, just keep watching this video and I'll explain to you how you can find this out by using Jagannatha Hora in case you have not yet been introduced to the concepts of Ashtakavarga, Bin Ashtakavarga and Sarva Ashtakavarga. As you all know, transits are to an extent very general. But if you want to get specific about it, you need to know certain things from your own unique horoscope. And for that, you need to know what is your Sarva Ashtakavarga and the Bin Ashtakavarga of Saturn and Jupiter. As soon as you click open Jagannatha Hora, you will see the screen. All you have to do is input your date, time and place of birth and click, and you will get your horoscope. And move to the right side. You can see here at the bottom section, you can see D1 of the natal chart. So you have the Sarva Ashtakavarga here, the 2-digit score. If you total this, it will come to 337. So this is also very important, and you need to look at what is the score you obtained over here in Tula Rashi, which is where Jupiter is right now. And for most part of this Jupiter transit, Saturn will be here, though Saturn is not right now here, Saturn is here in Vrishika, but on October 26th, he will move over to Sagittarius or Dhanush. And then you move to the Bin Ashtakavarga, which is the specific Ashtakavarga for each Graha. So here you see Jupiter, and Jagannatha Hora highlights the place where Jupiter itself is, what is the score Jupiter has obtained. Just ignore this. For the time being, you'll have to concentrate over here, which is Libra or Tula Rashi. Now in this horoscope, Jupiter has obtained only 3 points in its Ashtakavarga in Tula Rashi. And Saturn in Sagittarius or Dhanush Rasi has obtained 3. In case you have not yet installed Jagannatha Hora, I have done a very short video on how to do it, and it's just going to be a matter of few minutes before you can get started. This software is available for free. You can download it from the internet. Whenever it comes to transit, there is yet another thing we need to know. So in front of you, you have a table to refer to. There is something called Veda, or blocking, obstacles. As in nature, when something is blessing you, there's something else that blocks the blessing. So also when Jupiter transit is very good for you, you might find a planet blocks the good effects of Jupiter. So by referring to the table which is before you, you can at one glance tell for which moon sign this Jupiter transit is very favorable. By referring to this section here, blessing house, Virgo is blessed because Jupiter is in second house. Gemini, because Jupiter is in the 5th house. Aries in the 7th. Aquarius in the 9th. And Sagittarius in the 11th. As this transit happens, if any planet goes through or transits the 12th house from Virgo, then the result of this Jupiter transit will be blocked. For Gemini, if any planet goes through or transits the 4th from Gemini moon sign, then the 5th house result of Jupiter will be blocked. So you can easily understand the 7th house Jupiter transit can be blocked by any planet going through the 3rd house from Aries, which is Gemini. Same way for Aquarius, 9th house Jupiter transit is very good, but someone in the 10th house can block. And this does happen to Aquarius because until October 26th, Saturn sits in the 10th and blocks the result of Jupiter being in the 9th house. Jupiter in the 11th is very good, but if anyone goes through the 8th house, that result is blocked. If this works, the reverse also works. So if Jupiter is badly placed, which is like 12, 4, 3, 10 and 8, then if anyone goes through the 2nd house, then the result of the 12th house Jupiter's position will be blocked. This is called Viparita Veda. Something like a negative into negative makes a positive. So same way if Jupiter is in the 4th house, it's considered unfavorable. But if any graha moves over the 5th house, the challenges caused by Jupiter in the 4th will be blocked. You must always refer to this table whenever it comes to transit of Jupiter. So now let's get to the main topic of this video. How is Jupiter transit going to be for Vrishabha Rasi people or Taurus Moon Sign people? If you are a Vrishabha Rasi person, then you will find that the moon is over here in your horoscope. The sign, whatever you see behind, whose symbol is the bull, this area is called Taurus. It extends between 30 degrees to 60 degrees of the zodiac. So if you are a Krittika 2nd pada, 3rd pada or 4th pada, then you will have the moon over here. And if you are a Rohini Nakshatra person, then the moon will be right in the middle. And if you are a Mrigasira 1 and 2, you will have it over the edge of this sign. So let's drop the moon over here because all of you are Vrishabha Rasi people. And you will be actually 1 out of every 12 person in this world. So to begin with, let's do the general method, which may apply to all the 1/12 of the world's population. And so let's start counting from the moon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So Jupiter before 12th September 2017 was over here, and on 12th September 2017 he moved over here. So this is the meaning of transit. Previously Jupiter was well placed in the 5th house, and now he is getting into the 6th house. Now let's leave him here. And 6th house is not considered favorable. It's quite challenging because it exposes you to the problems caused by enemies or any type of enemy. And because a disease or an ailment is an enemy to the body, it covers the diseases as well. And cousins are related to the 6th house, and therefore problems through cousins are possible. And if you know more about the 6th house, you can easily guess what this Jupiter might actually do to you when Jupiter is in the 6th house. Usually the 6th house is called the house of disease, deaths and enemies. So you should be very careful. But you should never attempt to read Jupiter transit without considering Saturn's transit. And Saturn actually is not here when the is not in this place, which is Sagittarius. When the transit happened, Saturn was actually over here, but on October 26th, Saturn enters this sign, and he will remain here as long as Jupiter is in the 6th house. So that's the reason why I have kept Saturn over here. But there is no problem, because even if Saturn was in the 7th house, it is not favorable. So as the Jupiter transit happens, Saturn is unfavorable anyway. But when it comes to this 8th house, when Saturn is over the 8th house, Phaladeepika says a lot of things about concerns with children, separation from children, loss of children. It might actually hint at abortions. But in modern times, these things can actually get modified, because loss of children might actually be the children separate from you. They go for, they go to a foreign country. They go elsewhere to for higher studies or for the sake of their career. All this can happen, and this is just something which is considered good. Phaladeepika also goes on to say that this is a period of loss of cattle. Cattle might actually mean assets, and loss of friends, and loss of wealth, and possibility of diseases. And then I've always seen that in my these years of experience, I've noticed that Saturn in the 8th causes problems in the lower stomach. Because this is the 8th house, and sometimes also cause kidney problems, and whatever the organs are between the navel and the hip, they might give you the health problems. So now this is actually very general, but it's very important to note that when Saturn is badly placed in the 8th house, which is called Ashtama Shani, Jupiter is also not favorably placed. So both the big ones, Saturn is the king of the transit, and Saturn is also not favorably placed. And whenever it is not favorably placed, we look forward to the help of Jupiter for guidance. And Jupiter also is himself badly placed. So it means that you'll have to do all the Saturn remedies, and you'll have to do all the Jupiter remedies. And I have made some videos on Saturn remedies. You should watch top 8 facts about Saturn. For Jupiter, I haven't made it, but I'll just give you a few points about this. That if Jupiter is not well placed, then you should actually donate yellow items. 1 gram of gold, 1 gram gold coin, because gold is something directly related to Jupiter, and this might help you reduce the problems of the 6th house. 6th house placed Jupiter. Now, if you want to know why we said yellow is related to Jupiter, is because yellow sapphire is related to Jupiter, as stated in Rig Veda. Also, you will notice that Jupiter rules the liver, and when the liver gets afflicted, you will see the blood the skin turns yellow. So from all this, you can easily infer that Jupiter is the ruler over yellow colors. So as much as you can, donate yellow clothes and yellow sweets and yellow fruits, whatever you can. So if you know the actual essence of the karma theory and astrology, then you should be in a position to invent your own remedies as and how opportunities arise in whichever part of the world you are living in. You should also look at going to many Guru Samadhis, also worshipping a great Sadguru like Lord Shirdi Sai Baba, who was a down-to-earth guru who lived in conditions that is typical of sannyasis, not the rich godmen that you see in today's world. Pray to gurus on Thursdays using the mantra Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. You might also consider looking at Lord Shiva as a guru. And there are a lot of guru places in India. You should try to visit those places and take as much blessings as possible. But with all this, we hope to bring down the ill effects of Jupiter. And in case you have problems, it also means that you will have to spend money on Jupiter-like people, gurus, teachers, consultants, lawyers, astrologers, and all these people who can give you advice and counseling. So it doesn't mean that if something is bad in transit, that's definitely going to happen. It just tends to happen. So use astrology as a tool to solve the problems rather than simply accept the problems as it is stated. Now let's get specific about it. Please check the Nakshatra score that Jupiter obtained in this part of the zodiac, which is Tula Rashi. What is the score he has obtained? So if you have 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, you don't have to worry about Jupiter in the 6th that much when compared to someone who's got less than 4. But 4 is somewhat neutral, and from 5 the good effects really starts to show up. And by that, if the score you obtained is 8, then you can actually ignore the fact that Jupiter is badly placed. This is not going to affect you in that case. Now, there's yet another way of doing this. You can look at the Sarva Ashtavarga score. If it is greater than or equal to 28, then it's really a blessing. And then as the score gets better and better, you'll also notice that the challenges decrease further and further. And so if it is greater than 42, good, and really good is greater than 49. On the other hand, if the Binashwarga score is less than 3 or 4, and if it is 3, 2, 1 and 0, you will actually see the effects of whatever has been written for Jupiter being in the 6th house. So you can also check the Sarvashwarga score. If the score is less than 28, then 25, 22 and less than 19, then it can be really challenging. Now whatever idea we used for Jupiter, we should also use it for Saturn. So you first check whether in the Ashtavarga, Binashtavarga of Saturn, what's the score. 4, 5, 6 and 7 gets better and better and better. And if it is the Sarvashwarga score is greater than or equal to 28, it gets better, then greater than 35, greater than 42 and then greater than 49, it's really good. Now what does this mean? Does it mean that the entire effects of Saturn being the 8th will go away? Not exactly, but the problems will decrease to the extent of the marks that you have obtained over greater than 28. But on the other hand, if you find that the score is less than 4, 3 is somewhat okay, but 2, 1 and 0 really means that there will be almost the challenges are confirmed, which means that you should definitely do all the remedies do all the Saturn remedies. Watch my video on top 8 facts about Saturn. You should also keep an eye on the Sarvashwarga score. Is the score less than 28? It starts to give the challenges of Saturn being in the 8th house. Less than 25, more challenges. Less than 22, the challenges simply double. And less than 19, it could be really very strong like a cyclone. Whenever it comes to transit, we must also remind ourselves that Saturn and Jupiter are not the only planets that affect us during transits. All other planets also do, but they're not so popular because they move quickly from one house to another. So they give different results. But during a time like this, these things matter. So whenever Sun moves over your 3rd house, the 6th house and the 10th house and the 11th house, you will notice some relief. So also other planets can give different results. If you are interested in all this, you should just send me an email. My email ID will be given at the end of this video. Just send me an email and I will give you the text that is there in Faladipika, so you should be able to know everything about other planets also. But Saturn and Jupiter are the most important ones, and they have a greater say in our life. So that's the reason why we all do this. Astrologers do this kind of videos. Then there is yet another thing that can make it more specific for you is your Dasha Antardasha. Now if your Dasha and Antardasha combination is very good, then you will notice that these challenges get much reduced. On the other hand, if you are also going through a bad Dasha, like maybe Rahu Dasha, Shani Bhukti, where these planets are not well placed, or if you're going through Saturn, Shukra, Shani, or the notorious Ketu Mahadasha, then this can actually be extremely challenging period. So what you do is you look at your Dasha, Antardasha and refer Brihat Parashara Horashastra by Maharishi Parashara and find out what remedies you have to do with regard to your own basic chart vis-a-vis the Dashas and Antardashas. And whatever planets are causing the problem in transit, you do the prayers directly on these days. Like for example, now you have to concentrate on Jupiter, and Jupiter's day is Thursday and Saturn's day is Saturday. Most people know this. And also it's better to maintain a diary of events, so you will know which planet is hurting you more. For example, if you find that on 8th, 17th and 26th the problems are more, Saturn dominated time, the effects are more, then you should know that Saturn in the 8th is actually giving you these problems. But on the other hand, if you find on Jupiter's day, which is Thursday, or during the Nakshatra of Punarvasu, Vishaka and Purabhadra, there are more challenges. Then you know that the challenges are coming through Jupiter energy, which means that you should focus more on Jupiter remedies. So this is how you use astrology, and very important that knowledge should be positively used by not ignoring what is there in the sky, but first listening to them, heeding to whatever messages are being sent by these planets, and trying to protect yourself by doing the right kind of things. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.